Waiting for your signal. I'm listening.
Well, this is one of the most widespread conspiracy theories of the century that I've come across. I just want to clear a few things out in case you're unfamiliar with it, before we begin. There's a Twitter account named Strayed Away, run by some guy named TY. One day, this TY person tweets a strange message. In it, he urges everyone to listen to a voicemail that has just come out. So he posts the voicemail he'd received, and it's horrifying.
What did it say?
Let's hear it together.
Sierra, Delta, Alpha, November, Golf, Echo, Romeo, Sierra, Oscar, Sierra.
I didn't get much out of it, to be honest. It was just a series of words that didn't make any sense on their own, or when grouped together.
Well, the message is actually coded in the NATO phonetic alphabet, which is used in the military and sometimes with customer service systems. And when TY translated the message using the alphabet, it said, "Danger, danger. We must evacuate immediately. They are not human."
My God.
I know, it's horrible. Also, there was a bunch of numbers on the voicemail. When you entered these as coordinates on Google Map, it gave you a location close to Malaysia. It was the exact location where Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 had disappeared.
Oh, would you mind telling me a bit about the flight?
Hold on, we'll talk about that too. But before that, let's go back to TY. Other than the voicemail he tweeted, he had also received another anonymous message in a non-English language. Then a couple of days later, he received another message, this time in Morse code. So TY decoded that message on Google, and it said, "Delete the post you've shared on Twitter immediately."
Who was it from?
I don't know.
So, what of the Morse code?
TY shared the Morse code on Twitter, and then some of his followers deciphered it. It read, "They will invade us on April 18th, 2018.
Good God, that's insane.
That's right. You might think this is the strangest bit, but buckle up, because it's going to get weirder now. Now, 3 days before this happened, TY tweeted this. "I'm sitting in front of my house in my car. There's a guy standing in my driveway taking pictures of the house, and now he just left. It's 3 in the morning. God, I'm going to die tonight." Another man replying to TY said, "Looks like you've gotten too close to the mystery of Flight 370's disappearance." In case you don't know, I should say that the Malaysian Flight 370 vanishing was one of the strangest incidents in recent years.
I might have read a few things about it.
In March 2014, the Malaysian Flight 370 disappeared in the skies with all of its 239 passengers. The plane vanished into thin air, never to be spotted, after the airline traffic control lost all contact with it.
How would a plane so huge disappear with 239 people aboard?
After this message, TY's Twitter account was swarmed with comments. Someone replied to the tweet saying that if you listen to the flight recorder, the truth will come out. In case you're wondering what a flight recorder is, it's just a device that records every conversation in the cockpit, every instruction, so that if the plane crashes or there's an incident, this black box would serve as a tangible piece of evidence for people to learn what's happened to the aircraft. So this Twitter account named Uzumaki said of this matter that the flight recorder would also record instructed coordinates beside the conversations. Therefore, it probably had sent the plane's location right before its disappearance. Now, the black box isn't the only storage device here. Air traffic control's computers also record all flight information, and those can be used as hard evidence to figure out exactly what happened in the final moments before the disappearance.
You mean the pilot's distress signal was leaked from the traffic controller's computer and got its way to TY?
Actually, I'm not so sure. I just know that if that voice message and the distress signal from the flight recorder are the same, it means that the pilot of Flight 370 was crashing into something non-human.
Whoa.
This was the message. Danger ahead. We need to evacuate immediately. They're not human.
It could be that they encountered something non-human on the plane.
Or maybe outside the plane.
Now that's horrifying.
Right, but it gets even scarier. This is the last message sent from the pilot to air traffic control.
Malaysian 370, standby. Malaysian 370.
Did you hear it? The whole message sounded very standard. It's the pilot just checking in with the air control. And it ends with this.
Good night, Malaysian 370.
And this is the last thing the pilot said before the plane disappeared. If you listen closely, you'll notice that it sounds somewhat off.
What do you mean by that?
If you notice the earlier messages, the pilot tends to speak fluidly. He's in control and doesn't stutter.
Tower 118.8, Assalamualaikum.
But after that, he begins to stutter and make slips.
Alright, 1326 Malaysian 370.
And then the stuttering gets worse. Listen to this one.
Roger, Malaysian 370.
You're right. That's a bit odd.
And near the end, before the pilot signs off, a strange voice comes through. It's just there for a second. Listen.
Zero maintaining level 350. Malaysian 370. Malaysian 370.
What was the sound?
So, one theory suggests that the plane might have been hijacked by someone or something which had walked into the cockpit, causing the pilot to panic. And perhaps that strange entity then opened the cockpit door and scared our pilot.
Zero maintaining level 350. Malaysian 370. Malaysian 370.
Then forcing him to sign off before the plane disappeared on the radar.
So, after all, what do we take of all this?
Here we had lots of evidence to support our theory. We had a voice message, the flight data and coordinates. Also a message which said the world will end on April 2018. And then something weird happened. Suddenly TY's Twitter account was deleted. After a while, the girl who had figured out the coordinates pointing to the Malaysian flight tweeted this. Let's all agree that it was all fake, okay? I regret even saying that. This is one of the most far-fetched conspiracy theories out there. Even I don't believe it myself.
Now I'm really confused. What could it all mean?
Well, we don't even know who sent the messages to TY in the first place. or who TY was, and how did he disappear. That whether these messages had been from someone wanting to let the whole world know of the incident, or whether that person used TY to release this info.
This is too strange and frightening to even think about. That someone would just post a theory on social media and get lots of people drowned in these speculations. And ultimately, nobody realizes what's the truth and what's a lie.
Well, this is not the first time it's happened, and it certainly won't be the last. They deliberately swamp us with these theories, without admitting that they're making us carry out their deeds and give voice to their ideas. And you're right. It's very scary indeed.